There are different time periods for empires. There are. We're not unique in what we're going through here. Empires begin, normally a hard scrabble beginning, fighting. And then if they're lucky, they win and they begin to flourish and they begin to grow and prosper. And the people in that empire, the people in that nation, they benefit so much from it and they live these wonderful lives. And then once empires reach their peak, they're so wealthy, so powerful, nothing will ever take them down. That's happened a million times throughout history. Then things begin to rot. They begin to rot from the inside. It's always from the inside. They begin to rot and empires start to lose any connection with what they were, with what made them great, made them powerful, and they just kind of start to come down around us. And look, the story of empires rising and falling, no two stories look exactly alike, but one thing we do know throughout history is there are two things that can sink any empire of any size. It doesn't matter how big and powerful an empire is. If your empire takes on too much debt, if you spend too much, more than you take in, and if you import people who are hostile to your culture en masse, those two things, unfettered illegal immigration and debt, can sink any nation of any size. I always liken it to a gigantic ship. Picture the most powerful ship on the planet, battleship, aircraft carrier. You look at these things. You ever been around one? I've been on one before. They look unsinkable. And it's not just the size. The armor, the armor is so thick, they're made to withstand artillery shells. It looks unsinkable. And from the outside, it almost is. But if that ship begins to take on water, it doesn't matter how big and powerful it is, how much armor it has, with enough water, the ship goes down. Look, illegal immigration, it matters so much more than even we sell it. It's not just about crime, violent crime. It's really genuinely not just about that. That's one of the side horrors of illegal immigration. It's not just about the financial strain illegal immigration puts on a nation. Remember, these people we're importing here into this country en masse. They're a problem. Remember when I went on Tucker and talked about this? It's not an accident, as you well know. You talk about this all the time. It's not an accident what's happening on the border. The people who lead the nation from the federal level, that's Democrat politicians, half the Republican politicians, every bureaucrat, they are encouraging flooding the border with illegals. They're encouraging it. That's just what they want. They want America full of illegals, no loyalty to America, criminals, rapists, murderers. That is what they want, because when you cause violence and chaos in a society, that's the fertile soil where communism grows. People will always turn to the government and beg them for help when that kind of societal collapse comes. So they know this. So they're inviting it. Well, other countries around the world are obliging, as countries always have in this situation. Hey, there's a country I don't particularly like. They have an open border. We do have this prison full of rapists. Hey, guys, why don't you just move on to America? We know this is happening in countries like Venezuela, where they're emptying prisons onto the border. We don't have criminals coming here individually. We have entire criminal networks coming here. The country is being undone now, and it cannot be reversed what's happening right now. I want everyone to understand this. Let's say everyone gets their wish and Donald Trump beats Joe Biden in November and woohoo! You cannot possibly, it's not humanly possible to deport this many people. If Joe Biden's going to bring in 10, 12 million people, almost all of them will be here permanently and all of their children will be American citizens. And there's not going to be some mass deportation, no matter what people say on the campaign trail. The American people have no stomach for that whatsoever. Even if they think they do right now, it would be one video of a little boy crying as mommy gets thrown in the back of a paddy wagon to be deported, and all deportations would stop. Republicans would grab their ankles for the media like they always do, and everything, well, we need to do this more humanely. So that's the situation we're in. We cannot stand by and watch the United States of America be destroyed, and people have to understand how dire this situation is. This is the stated policy now of the Democrat Party. So even if Joe Biden gets bounced in 2024, woohoo, we get some deportations in. The next time there's any Democrat president, it'll again be open season and the entire world will know. Criminals, drugs, rapists, everything flooding into the country to destroy it. The time is now to create a coalition in a totally separate immigration force. That's what we have to do. It's true. The crime, the financial strain. But before we move on to the debt portion of it, the cultural strain is not one we talk about, and it might be the most important thing. You must share common values if you're going to remain a nation. You must. It's not an option. You must have common cultural values, or you're not a nation. A bunch of warring tribes stuck inside of a border. You can't import other cultures from all over the world and stay a country. You simply can't. It doesn't work. And it's what we've done. And that's some of the water in the ship. The rest of the water is the debt. And I'm not Johnny come lately. I know debt's starting to be a hot topic. I've been talking about this, for years. This is me back in 2021 when I had hair. The GOP lined up for the last 4 years. 4 years. And voted yes, and voted yes, and voted yes, and voted yes on multiple, massive spending bills. Truth is, no one cares. And no one's going to care until the whole house of cards come crashing down. And everyone's going to look around and they're going to say, well, how'd this happen? How'd this happen? Now, well, here's the hard truth of it. Talk about making you uncomfortable. Here's the hard truth of it. When that happens, you and I will both have to go look in the mirror and say, that's on me. I never demanded better. So I never got better. You get what you get. Don't throw a fit. And here we are, 34 trillion in debt. The number keeps changing for the worse, but it looks like as of next year, just paying the interest on the debt will be the largest line item in the American budget. And you see, we're going to get to a place really quickly where we can't make those interest payments anymore. And when that happens, what will they do? They will bludgeon us with taxes. They're certainly not going to cut any spending for themselves. They'll bludgeon us with taxes. They'll print more money than they're already printing now, try to print their way out of it, which will make inflation even worse. The cost of everything in your life continues to go up, 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 and up. We are simply following the exact same playbook that nation after nation after nation has followed throughout history, and that we are heaping debt and illegals onto ourselves, and we are undoing ourselves. And I'm so frustrated that the people who know this won't do anything about it. Remember when I asked Senator Marsha Blackburn, hey, do any of these people give a crap about this debt situation? Do they realize that the party's going to stop at some point, and then it's not going to be any fun being in D.C.?
What is so interesting, they don't think it's going to happen on their watch. And there is a thing, and my grandmother used to say this all the time, you can be liked or you can be respected. And what they want to do is be liked. They want people to love them. So they just keep cranking out those printing presses, and they think they're going to be long gone before the bill comes due. But the person that's going to be toting the note on all of this out of control spending is our kids and grandkids. And what we are doing to our grandchildren today is capping their opportunities in future years because they're going to be burdened with this national debt.
That's how horrible these people are. Well, yeah, they don't know it's coming. I think it'll be after they're gone. And that's where we are as a country. Watching the people who lead our nation essentially author our ending. Is there another way to put it? They're writing America's ending. They're writing it down in the book. Endless illegals, endless debt, and we can't seem to make these people care. And I get so frustrated about that.